Okay, this is 373, week 7, part 6. Cool, this is going really well. Coriolanus, they're really doing a good job convincing him, and then he freaks out. He can't do it. Must I show them my unbarbed sconce, meaning I gotta take my hat off? I'm not doing that. Must I with my base tongue give to my noble heart a lie that it must bear? He doesn't want to do this. And then he says, well, I will do it. Yet there were but this single plot to lose. This mold of Marcius, they to dust should grind it and throw it against the wind, to the marketplace. So he's like, they're going to kill me, so I guess I'll, even though he says they're going to kill me and I hate them so much. But he's agreed to do it. He says, well, I'll do it. To the marketplace. You have put me to such a part where I never shall discharge to the life. It's interesting, this use of the word part here, he's upset because they're asking him to be like an actor. An actor on a stage says things that aren't true. I am Hamlet. Like, that's not Hamlet. Right? I am Macbeth. That's not Macbeth. That's Michael Fassbender. That's a lie. Actually, if you follow the word, hypocrite, someone who says you should be good, but they're actually bad. The word hypocrite, if you follow back to its ancient roots, like in ancient Greece, that word meant actor, because it's a person who says things that are not true for a living. And Coriolanus, what's funny about this is, again, it's like I'm watching a play where an actor is playing Coriolanus, but Coriolanus hates actors because they tell lies. And his mom is like, go act, go tell them you like them when you don't, and it makes him crazy. So they say, come, we'll prompt you, meaning we're going to tell you what to say. I prithee now, sweet son, as thou hast said my praises, to make thee first a soldier, so to have my praise for this, perform a part thou hast not done before. Right? So again, they're asking him to be like an actor, and he says, "Well, I must do it. Away my disposition and possess me of some harlot's spirit." It's an interesting line there. He says he wants his. Remember when Lady Macbeth was like, "Unsex me here. I don't want to be a woman anymore. I want to be a man. I want to be cruel and have no remorse." Coriolanus says, "Away my disposition and possess me some harlot spirit." He's noble. And he believes, he has to be himself. And he says, okay, I'll do it. Let's make my spirit go away. And in its place, a harlot. That's a sex worker. It's such an interesting insight into his psychology that he feels like to go in front, all he has to do is be nice for 5 fucking minutes. But because he hates these people, it makes him feel like, I guess I'm not a soldier anymore. I guess I'm just a sex worker. Because he imagines sex workers, because it's like sex workers lie. Oh, baby, I love you. Oh, you look great. You look so sexy. Because you're paying them to say that, and you're paying them to pretend they love you when they don't, or pretend they're interested in sex with you when they're probably not. It's such an interesting psychological detail that he just feels like even being nice for 5 minutes to people that hate him, he's just like a sex worker now. It's really funny. And the word harlot, he doesn't, I'm saying sex worker because I'm trying to be a person, but the word, if I was translating this, the word he would use would be like whore. Oh, like I'm basically not a soldier anymore. I'm basically just a whore. He would say he was prostituting himself. My throat of war be turned with which quired to my drum into a pipe as small as the eunuch or a virgin's voice that babies lull asleep. He feels like he's not a man anymore. A eunuch is someone whose dick has been cut off. He feels like he's a virgin that makes babies go to bed because he has to make these people calm down, and he thinks they're all babies. The smiles of knaves, these are bad people, tent in my cheeks, and the schoolboy's tears take up the glasses of my sight. A beggar's tongue must make a motion through my lips and my arm knees. Who bowed but in my stirrup bend like this that hath received an alms. So he says, the only time I ever bent my knees was to get on a horse to kill somebody. And now he's going to get on his knees and say he's sorry to the crowd. And then he says, I will not do it. And it's really funny because over here they're badgering and badgering, telling me what he has to do. And he goes, okay. And he finally says, well, I will do it. And then over here, he says, well, I must do it. And he keeps describing what he has to do. And then he just kind of freaks out. And he just kind of freaks out. And he was like, I will not do it, lest I surcease to honor mine own truth, and by my body's action teach my mind a most inherent baseness. He can't. He's like, I'll do it. I'll do all this stupid shit you're asking, like this and this and this. I'll do it. I'll do this and this and this. I'll do this and this and this. No, you know what? I won't do it. And he can't do it. Again, really interesting reason. He says he won't do it because he fears that I will surcease to honor mine own truth, and by my body's action teach my mind a most inherent baseness. He thinks that if he has to pretend to be something he's not, even just with his body, it's going to corrupt his mind. That if they can make him pretend to care about people, that's going to corrupt him. He hates those people. And even pretending to like those people for 5 minutes would lessen him, would lower him. He's going to teach his mind baseness. Even going through the motions is like training his mind. It's interesting. And this is actually a sort of a psychological theory of things too. There's a famous quote from Pascal who was talking about Christianity, and he said that a lot of people think that if you believe in God, you should pray. But he says, actually, what you should do is pray, and then you'll believe in God. And I think what he's thinking of there is like, if you force children to pray every day, they don't believe in God. But if you make them go through the motions every night and say their prayers, their body will teach their mind to believe it. That's a way of getting people to believe is by, first, just step one is just go through the motions, even if you don't believe it. And then after a while, it sticks. And that's more true, I think, of children. Who you think you can remain detached from it, but if you do it every day, it kind of sinks into your brain, and this is what Coriolanus is worried about. Voluminous says, at thy choice, then, to beg of thee it is more dishonor than thou of them, meaning it would dishonor me to beg you more than it would dishonor you to... It would dishonor me to beg you to do this thing, be nice to people. That'd be even worse than begging you to go, than telling you to go beg them for forgiveness. And she's like, okay, fine, we're all fucked. Come all to ruin. Let thy mother rather feel thy pride than fear thy dangerous stoutness. For I mock at death with as big a heart as thou. Do as thou list. Do whatever you want. I'm brave like you. You know what? Do whatever you want to do. Ruin the whole country. Thy valiantness was mine. Thou suck'st it from me. But oh, thy pride thyself, right? She says, you're brave. You think you're so brave? You got that from me. You know what? Do whatever you want. Ruin the whole country. It's a very guilt-trippy mom thing. It's like she's literally saying to him, you know what? Fine. Ruin your life. Go ahead. I don't even care anymore. Oh, God, Voluminous is so crazy. Oh, I love her so much. And she really makes him feel better. She really makes him actually, and and there's actually a comedy line here that's a little bit funny. He says, be content, and the guilt trip works. Be content, mother, I'm going to the marketplace. Chide me no, don't be so mad at me. I'll go. I'll mountebank their loves, cog their hearts from them, and come home beloved. She guilt tripped him, and now he's going to go. This line here, he says, look, I'm going. Commend me to my wife. I'll return consul, blah, blah, blah. And he leaves. This line here, look, I am going. It's not a very interesting line that Shakespeare wrote, but actors have a lot of fun with it in the movie. He's like, fine, because Coriolanus' mom guilt trips him. He's just like, I can't do it. And she's like, fine, ruin your life, ruin everything. I don't even care anymore. And he goes, be content, mother. I'm going. I'm going. I'll do it. And then he's like, look, I'm going. And it's a funny line because it's like this is why George Bernard Shaw said that it made this joke that Coriolanus is Shakespeare's funniest play. Because it's like a petulant teenager to be like, look, I'm doing it. Whatever, mom, I'm going to do it. Okay, fine. I'm doing it. Like this is the other joke that I love about the play that I told already, but you can see it here. Coriolanus is somehow both. Shakespeare's created a crazy character who is somehow both the god of war and a huge fucking baby. And it's his most babyish moment is coming, but it's really babyish for him to be. His mom guilt trips and he's like, okay, look, I'm going. Look, I'm going, mom, I'm leaving. All right, I'll see you in the next video.